Hello friends, it's Simone. I have a new pen. Yes. I watched a video by Brittany from Carrots and Olives and I saw a pen and I knew that this pen was my other Sailor Pro Gear. And so I made sure I had enough money and went ahead and bought it because I just couldn't wait for any dates that I set myself. I made sure to wait 7 days before I ordered it. I did, and here it is. If you watch her channel, then you must have seen this pen and you probably know why I like it. I purchased it in a broad nib. It is the Nagasawa Gearske in gold. And it is a clear Pro Gear model with gold trim and a gold nib. And a gold converter is already included. I like that that comes in there. You can see I already dip tested it. I couldn't wait to open it. So I already did that. Let me make sure that I clean it off and you can see the beautiful nib. Okay, maybe this is better. Let me come closer. And I hope you can see this. I have a hard time looking at my camera screen right now. If it doesn't show, I will insert a photo so you can look at it better. I love the nib design. Super beautiful. It is a 21 karat gold nib. And I already said it's a broad nib. And the reason why I purchased this pen is because of the finial. You can see this. It is an ink bottle. It's the Kobe ink design bottle, or I think Sailor Gentle inks came in those bottles as well. And yeah, it is just stunning. The cap band says Nagasawa right here, and on the back, I don't think that this is very I don't know. I think this pen looks so classy, simple, and then you have this flourishy engraving on the back, which it only says pen style pen, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I'm not reading this correctly. If this says something else and I'm just blind, please let me know. I don't really care what it says. I just think that the font isn't the best choice. So I have already dip tested it. I needed to see how it writes because I said I ordered a broad nib. And yeah, we will do some really short comparison. In the box, there is also some cartridges. I seem to be lacking words. And then it says Nagasawa. Here is how the ink is being filled, the pen is being filled with a cartridge, with a converter, and how to clean the pen. So I really like that I was able to get this pen. I know that you can purchase them in Japan, but I, just as Brittany, ordered mine from Venice. They are an authorized Nagasawa retailer, and I love their shop. So I didn't really mind paying a premium because I know that I'm supporting a small business. So there we go. Here is some pens that I would like to compare this to. Well, actually, I didn't want to compare it to the mini, but it was there. So let's just do that really quickly. If you want to know all the measurements, I have shared those in other videos. because this is now my third Sailor Pro Gear in a very short amount of time. I think, so I have 3 now. I can show those to you in just a second. I think I'm done. I think I have a good variety. I have great pens, meaningful pens to me. If you've watched my wish list video a while ago, I said I really wanted the green Gearske Origin Pro Gear, and I have come to the conclusion that I will not get that pen. If you're interested, the reason why is because even though this is also a special edition for a Nagasawa, this finial is meaningful to me. It is an ink bottle. I love swatching inks. I love collecting is maybe a bad word. I love using inks. I love color. I love fountain pens. So this finial is whimsical and meaningful to me, whereas the Sailor Gearske Origin pen, it is no question. It's a beautiful pen, but that pen is very meaningful to Gearske, which it should be. So I'm glad I found one that is not just pretty, but also meaningful to me. I hope that makes sense. That's how I like to choose pens. Here you can see it capped in comparison to a few pens. My go-to pens to compare is the TWSBI Eco and the Lamy Safari, or in this case, this is a Lamy All-Star. Capped, it is definitely a fair bit smaller. It's almost similarly in size to the, well, you could say what it lacks in length to get to the Eco and Safari size. It is bigger than the TWSBI Mini. If you would call this the Sailor well, this is not the Sailor entry-level Pro Gear. The Pro Gear Slim I would consider an entry-level pen for a Sailor. Gold nib pen. This is the Pilot Custom 74, so it's also longer, but I think it's slimmer. And then here we have the Sailor King of Pens. So this is definitely a fair bit bigger than the Pro Gear. If we uncap those, I do not post the Custom 74, whereas I do post the Pro Gear. I just really like this pen. I'm so glad I was able to get it. And then here we have the King of Pens, which I don't post either. That's funny because it's the shortest one of them all now. And then let's just do, for comparison's sake, put this over here. And then I'll show you the nibs, the gold nib comparison, because I think that's also quite interesting. And here is a uncapped. I don't usually post the Lamys and the TWSBIs. So this is what this looks like. If we compare the different gold nibs, let's get rid of these pens so it's not too overwhelming. And then once we're done with the comparison, I can include the measurements for this pen in the description box down below. Don't necessarily would love to measure it again. I could read it to you as well. So this is a 21 karat gold nib. It's huge. This is a 21 karat gold nib. It's bigger than the Custom 74, which is a 14 karat gold nib. Both of those are broad nibs, and I want to dip test and compare the line width of both of those. And that's what we're going to do right now. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you quickly the measurements of the Nagasawa Pro Gear, which is the same as all the other Sailor pens. So the grip width at where I hold it, which is right about here, is 10.81 millimeters. The length capped is 12.8 centimeters. Uncapped, it is 11.5 centimeters, and posted, it is 14.9 centimeters. The weight, as you see it here, is 25 grams, and uncapped, unposted, it is 16 grams. And I purchased this at Venice for $300. Unfortunately, for Nagasawa and some other brands, the discount codes that you could find online, my friend Lorelei has one. So if you want to order ink samples from Venice, Lorelei 10 gives you 10% off. They don't work for these pens. Would be fun though. But yeah, so let us do a dip test in my ink journal. Oh wow, this is fun. And let's see how this writes. I am always using Waterman Serenity Blue for those first impression tests so that I can compare first impressions of pens with each other. It's always the same ink. It's always a standard ink, an ink that others use as well. Nibmeisters use this when testing grinds. So I believe that this is a good way to compare. So let's write new pen day. The paper that I'm writing on right now is Cosmo Air Light. I enjoy it, but it took me a while to get used to it. It is very swampy. If I write on this, I feel like my pens go into a mushy surface, kind of, and you can... I will use some Tomoe River paper in a bit to compare. I feel like it broadens my lines quite a bit. So this is the Sailor. No, this is not the Sailor. This is a Sailor Pro Gear model, but it is not, that is not what it is called. So this is the Nagasawa Gearske, which I find such an odd name. So this probably comes from Pro Gear, because they also have a Proske, which is the Pro Gear Slim model gear. Well, okay, in the gold finish. This also exists in rose gold and black. Black is also available through Venice, but if you wanted the rose gold, you would have to go through a Japanese retailer, maybe only Nagasawa. I am not 100% sure because I did not do that research. And this is a broad nib. So let's do downstrokes, side strokes, upstrokes, strokes, and some figure 8s, and then let's see how the line variation. I can definitely get some variation in the downstrokes with pressure, but I do not personally do that in ever. I just enjoy my pens to write normal. I'm going to dip this right here and see how the broad nib of the King of Pen compares. And then I do have my Sailor Pro Gear with a medium nib inked right now. Of course not in Waterman Serenity Blue, but in Diamine Earl Grey. And I will do a writing sample. So this is the King of Pen in broad, and you can see that I believe, because of the size of the nib, it is much bouncier and it is definitely more flexy. I will show it to you back here. So if I downstrokes, side strokes, the tines open up much wider just by using regular pressure. Here, can you see that? So there's definitely a lot more line variation. Maybe I should write the and then we'll finish with the Gearske right here. I thought the line width were different, but it's just a different nib experience, which I'm lazy. I am very happy about that because I don't want pens or nibs to feel the same. With this, I have two different nib experiences, even though they're both broad. Of course, they are differently sized, and thus I hoped they would be different, but I wasn't 100% sure. So to confirm that there is a difference in those nibs is definitely awesome. So here is the medium nib, and I'll just put this right over here. I really like how they all write. I did not think personally that I would enjoy Sailor pens so much. You can see that the medium nib is definitely narrower, finer than the both broad nibs, of course, which is good in my opinion. As I said, I would like to have different nib experiences. Jumps over the lazy. So I will write my first impressions, but I will tell them to you right now. Oh, I said I was going to show you the 3 Pro Gears that I own now. I acquired them in a very short time span, and I'm really happy with the ones that I have now. They're super different. So I have this Sailor Pro Gear, Too Hot Habanero. It is a North American exclusive from 2021, if I'm not mistaken. I did research and I shared it on the video where I shared the unboxing of this pen. It has a music nib, which is interesting, but I'm managing writing with it quite well now. This is the Sailor Pro Gear Imperial Black. It is a matte black finish with matte trim, black trim and a black nib. Medium nib, also 21 karat gold. I like how this pen feels. I like the nib size. I would say, well, this is going to bother me for a bit. I need to make sure that all the little fuzzy things in here. Let me see if I can take this out and make it pretty here. So and then this one is the newest one. It's the Nagasawa Gearske in gold. I find the nib width of Sailor pens to be on the finer side. So for me, the medium is not a usual medium experience. Let me grab this medium pen. Maybe I just have different impressions and I'm wrong. I'm going to put the medium, which is not at all even this video, but I just wanted to see. Yeah, well, So in my feeling was that this nib would be narrower than the medium pilot nib. But if I look at the lines right here, I don't think that's the case. So I must have been mistaken. And you can definitely see also something that I have noticed with most of my gold pilot nibs is the sailor, the downstrokes, the side strokes, the upstrokes are all similar with, they are similarly wet. In the pilot nibs, the upstrokes are often quite dry and therefore they are finer and not as saturated. That will definitely give you a line variation when writing, but it could also be something that you stumble upon and across and you don't enjoy writing with it because it has drier upstrokes. That is not the case with the Sailor medium nib, which I enjoy. In general, I feel that the medium nib on the Sailor and then also therefore on the pilot are finer than I usually experience medium nibs. And so if I would compare the Lamy medium nib with this, it would probably be broader. Maybe I need to do an experiment and ink all the medium nibs that I have and just see how they compare. That would be a fun thing to do. I meant to share a writing sample on Tomoe River paper just so you can see the difference. So this is Tomoe River paper. I'm going to go to that specific page. I think that the line width in the Tomoe River paper is much more true to the actual size. I know that the Cosmo Airlight makes the line width appear broader than it usually is. So this is definitely the better way to look at it. I'm going to add the Imperial black medium nibs just so you can see what it looks like. So you can definitely see that there is a difference in line width between the medium and the broad, which is how it should be. I enjoy writing with both. I believe, or as I said before, I feel like the medium is more on the finer side of medium and the broad is just right. It's not too broad, which I also don't enjoy. These two nib sizes are definitely perfect for me. So I hope this was great. Let's get back to the rest of the video. I will tell you my first impressions. I love the design of this pen. I love the finial. I love the meaning it has to me. I love that I have a, sounds weird, but I have a personal connection to this ink bottle for some reason. I feel drawn to this as a meaningful pen for me. I do love the very laid back design. It is a clear pen with gold finishing trims. There's nothing fancy. Well, it is fancy, but there's no whimsicalness about this pen in the sense of here, like, you know, color. There's no color, there's no glitter. This convinces me because of its simple design. I really like the weight of this pen when it's posted. I like how it lays in my hand. It's the exact perfect size for me. It doesn't feel back weighted at all. It sits in my hand perfectly. The grip section is short, but the threads are thin and the step up is not big at all. So even if I hold my pen further back, I'm not affected by this. I like the section width, and I also really like the broad nib. So I cannot wait to ink up this pen. I love how wet it feels. I love how the broad nib writes in general. I like that it feels wet. And yeah, I think that's all. I totally love that it's a unique nib engraving. Well, unique to the Pro Gear, probably not unique to the Nagasawa versions of Sailor pens. And I'm really happy to add this to my collection. I think it is so different to the pens that I already own, even though I have 3 Sailors. This one definitely was missing. So I will for sure ink this up in April with an ink. I need to clean it, and I'm going to write my first impressions right now so I don't forget. And then sometime during the month of April or May, whenever I do my currently inked review for the month of April, I will talk about how I felt using it when I was writing with it. So now when I look at this nib from the side, it has a little bit of an architect feel to it or look to it, but I'm so impressed by these two. They wrote well out of the box. There was no scratchiness. They were wet enough to use them right away. I don't need to tweak them at all, and I'm really glad I have had such a great experience. I know that this is not necessarily typical for Sailor, so I'm glad that I didn't have a negative experience at all. This is the 3rd one, and it's the 3rd great experience for sure. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon. Let me know if you have one of these, or let me know what pen is a pen that, because of its design, because of its whimsical finial, is meaningful to you. I would love to know if you have these experiences as well. See you in another video. Bye.